If you are a Rebel owner, or if you are considering buying a Rebel 1100 and comparing it to something a little bit more touring focused, if you know what I mean, like the NT1100 over here, this video is going to be for you.
Get somewhere, I ride to understand. Every mile's a conversation between the road.
As you guys can see, this is not the Rebel. So if you are a Rebel owner, or if you are considering buying a Rebel 1100 and comparing it to something a little bit more touring focused, if you know what I mean, like the NT1100 over here, this video is going to be for you. Currently, I'm on a journey to see, is there something else for me out there? You guys know how much I love the Rebel. I've had it now for 5 years, but you know, I'm curious, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. I know that many 1100 owners, especially the touring model, are also considering upgrading. Now, what are your options, right, if you wanted to upgrade? You have Rebel 1100, you have the Scout Bobber, but what if you wanted something a little bit more touring focused, right? The next step up would be, let's say, something like a Harley Davidson, right? What if you don't want to go that route? What if you can't afford to go that route? Then you're looking at a Honda. And if you're looking at a Honda, what are your choices, okay? Your choices are 3. The Rebel 1100, the Goldwing, which is the king of all touring comfortable motorcycles, which everybody wants. I've had the privilege and the opportunity to actually test ride one a few years ago, and I have a video on the channel to if you guys are interested, if you wanted to see it. And what's the other option, right? The other option is an Africa Twin. The Africa Twin is very intimidating for somebody like me. A lot of the owners of the Rebel 1100 are typically a little bit shorter than your average rider. That's one of the things that attracted us to the Rebel 1100. So what's the next best thing, right? Very few options. You have the NC750X, right? And why do I exclude that? It's because it doesn't come with cruise control. And in my opinion, 750 at like 50 horsepower, 60 horsepower, I don't think that it's gonna have that fun factor that I want, right? Okay, then you have the Trans-Up. The Trans-Up does not come with a DCT, so that excludes it for me. And I'm sure for a lot of you guys as well, right? Some may love it, but this is not for you, okay? This video is for people that want a DCT bike. So, the next best thing that comes along is the NT1100. Okay, when it first came out on paper, amazing. So I'm like, yes, this is something definitely that I'll be interested in. But then anxiety got the better of me, okay? And you guys will understand later on in the video why I was so right about my fears, okay? But anyway, it is a big bike, and it is tall and intimidating in my opinion. Can I ride it? Clearly. I can take this to the track and I'll show you guys what this bike is capable of. Absolutely amazing. Love the engine because it's the same engine as the Rebel 1100, okay? Enough talking. Let me go and park up so that we can talk about a few other things and how it compares to the Rebel 1100. Okay, so let's talk about me first as a rider. Okay, I own a Rebel 1100. I've had it for 5 years. I've dialed it in perfectly for my comfort. I'm 5'7". I'm quite short and my legs are even shorter than average, so 29, 30-inch inseam, roughly speaking. So these are my observations of this bike and how it compares to the Rebel 1100. So if I am considering to upgrade, what bike would I upgrade to? This is definitely one of the strongest contenders out there. So let me share with you my first riding impressions, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more. Okay, so, oppa. Okay, it's a little bit heavy, not necessarily heavy, but because it's tall, I struggle a little bit with it. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see. Both feet are touching the ground. All right, it's the first time that I ride it. Okay, guys, be patient with me. I'll tell you how I feel, all right? Okay. Rear brake, not bad, good engagement. Okay, we're gonna go to the right. Oh yeah, very smooth. Suspension feels great. Okay, we're gonna make a left over here. Front brakes feel fantastic. Okay, there's a little bit of dive. Okay, now I'm coming from a cruiser going to this sport tourer, okay? Seat feels like it's pushing me forward a little bit, so it's like almost slanted forward a little bit. With a better seat, definitely it can be fixed. My knees, they feel maybe a little bit more cramped than on the Rebel because they're a little bit further back. Rear brake feels good. As I applied it, I felt myself sliding forward. Right now with the lowest screen height, I feel the air at the top of my helmet right here. The engine is super smooth, by the way. Very smooth. I don't feel any vibrations whatsoever, even though I'm sure I'm in 6th gear right now. Surprisingly, wind protection is very good on the legs. As you guys saw in the video, I did struggle a little bit to get the bike off the side stand. Naturally, this is a taller bike, of course, and it has a high center of gravity relative to the Rebel 1100. So naturally, it's going to feel a little bit more top heavy than the Rebel because the Rebel has such a low center of gravity, okay? I did struggle, but once you get it upright, okay, I'm on my tiptoe, maybe my heel is an inch off the ground, relatively speaking. And once you're up and center, the bike, yes, it is centered. However, the minute you tilt over to one side or the other, you do definitely feel a difference. So just sharing my first impressions and exactly what I felt so that you guys are aware of what you would feel if you were to ride this bike. This is the second day with the bike, and I can tell you after riding the first day and today as well that it's not set up for me perfectly as I had done to the Rebel. The Rebel, I dialed it in perfectly for my comfort, so I'm sitting straight up, I have a backrest, I have highway pegs, my bars are closer to me, so I have no issues whatsoever in terms of the seating position with the Rebel 1100. This is different in the sense that it does have a slightly forward lean to it with the stock bars. So can you fix that? Absolutely. With risers, you can bring it back, and that way you can be seated more upright. What I do want to point out is the stock seat. Stock seat is not as terrible as the Rebel 1100 stock seat is. This one's a little bit better. As you can see, it is quite wide back here. However, what I want you to notice is, do you see that there is quite an aggressive slope over here where it is larger? So having said that, you find yourself sliding forward a little bit and you end up over here. This area is narrow over here, which puts pressure in different points. So you start to get fatigued from the seat. So personally, I would change the seat for something a little bit more comfortable. There are plenty of options that are available right now for the NT since it's been out since 2022. So I would change the seat. I would add risers as well to fix that seat, and also I would add highway pegs because this doesn't have. Now, surprisingly, the foot position The angle of your knee is not horrible. I'll share a short clip with you on the side so you guys can see what it looks like. It's not so bad. But you know what's really awesome about it is the fact that you can stand up, and I'll include some footage so you can see me standing up on the bike. That relieves a lot of pressure, a lot of discomfort when you're able to stand up. And it's such a natural position when you're in the standing position. You handle the bike perfectly. It feels so good. It feels so natural. So yes, definitely this bike can be dialed in. Now, this is tall, right? So another thing that I would need to do, or a shorter rider should consider doing, would be to lower the bike with some links or dog bones as they call them. There's a video that I'm going to share with you guys. And please check out his video. He did a great job in demonstrating his height and the installation, and then what the results were afterwards. So definitely, you can bring it down a little bit. You can lower the front as well a little bit to kind of get it perfect just for you. But I can't tell you what that feels like because I didn't ride with it. Another thing that really surprised me about this bike, and I wasn't expecting it, is how quiet it is on the highway. I mean, I actually don't have earplugs in. And mind you guys, I suffer from tinnitus because I damaged my hearing on the track. And I have zero pain, zero issues. My ears aren't ringing. I honestly cannot believe how quiet the bike is. Whatever they did with wind noise management is just amazing. The other thing that I wanted to also point out is how awesome the exhaust sounds. Let's see if you guys can hear it with me, okay? Just that rumble. Did you guys hear that? Oh man, it is awesome. Such a great sounding, you know, OEM exhaust. I don't know if it came out or not, but these two things really surprised me, you guys. And just wanted to make sure that I share this with you because I know a lot of people, you know, wind noise is quite important to them. And if this is one of the factors that you're considering, I'm telling you guys, just go for this bike. If it's noise and comfort that you're seeking, this is it. This is a touring bike, right? So I took it out on the highway to see exactly what it feels like when you're doing these long miles. So here's a short clip to show you what it feels like. Okay, let's see how it does on the highway over here. Okay, we're doing 80 miles an hour and it's actually effortless. That's the word that I'm looking for. It's like nothing. Wind protection is very impressive. Okay, this is compared to the Rebel 1100, of course. Wind protection is very impressive. On the legs, as you guys can see, not a lot of air hitting my jeans relative to the Rebel 1100, of course. The screen over here, it's deceiving, you know. You don't feel any air, but look, we're doing 82 miles an hour. It does not feel like we're doing 82 miles an hour, relatively speaking, of course. So let me slow it down a little bit. But yeah, it is very impressive on the highway in terms of high-speed stability. As you guys can see, it's solid as a rock. In terms of the comfort over undulations in the road and whatsoever, nothing at all. I don't feel them actually, which is great. In terms of the seat, the position, it's a commanding position. As you can see, she didn't even see me, which is okay. I mean, it was expected, you know. That's why we always need to have situational awareness, right guys? Anyway, so very impressive, very capable on the highway. So far I am super impressed with it. I can confidently tell you that definitely it is a lot more comfortable on the highway because of the suspension, because of the stability, because of the wind protection. It is very impressive. Let me point something out to you guys. This is an aftermarket screen. And let me show you as well from this side. So if you pull this over here, you can raise it all the way up. I didn't try it in this position yet. I didn't need to actually. And then you can actually lower it all the way down. This is the lowest position. I took it up one notch like this, and this was perfect. It was pushing the air above me, and I can't tell you how effective this is. Very, very impressed with the windscreen, very impressed with the wind protection, and there is zero buffeting. The way that they designed it with the venting over here as well as underneath, these work well as well. The fairings work incredibly well. And I'll show you some footage from the side. You'll see that on the highway, as the wind is coming over here, it's blocked some way, somehow. I don't know if these deflectors actually are doing the trick or not, but whatever they've done to the bike, they've done an incredible job in terms of wind protection. And it does make a huge difference, and you feel it if you're coming from the Rebel. You definitely will feel it. So this is absolutely 10 times better in terms of on the highway and the comfort that you feel, especially from wind protection and the way that it absorbs the bumps and so on. Okay, so the question is, how does it handle curvy roads, right? Like from my perspective. So let's check it out over here, see how it does. Oh yeah, very nice. The power is super nice. Let's see how it takes the corners. Ooh, baby. Yeah, buddy. Tight right over here. Oh, the pickup is sweet. So yeah, you know, in the corners, it's really nice. Now, I have to say, right, this is a tall bike, so it's gonna feel a little bit different than the Rebel. So just keep that in mind. But is it capable? Clearly, you guys just saw, right? So you can have a ton of fun on this bike, not a problem whatsoever. Let's talk about the engine, the power, and the DCT, okay? Yes, definitely there is more power. You do feel it. However, it's a different kind of power. I'm trying to find the words to articulate it to you. It's a lot smoother, okay? Maybe because of the way that the engine is mounted to the chassis is different than the Rebel, but whatever they did, they softened the vibration, they softened the feel. You know how you feel that rumble underneath you with the Rebel? It has character, right? Which is better? I can't tell you. You decide for yourself, because it's, you know, subjective at the end of the day. But yes, there is more power. The delivery is very smooth, very linear, okay? You don't feel a jerk. I don't know if you guys have noticed, when your Rebel 1100 gets to 4,000, it feels almost as if a turbo kicks in or of some sort, right? But you don't feel that in this bike. That's regarding the power. But yes, there is more power here. You do feel it. The next thing that I want to point out is the DCT itself. It is a lot more refined. It is definitely smoother in slower speeds as you're coming to a stop, and it downshifts to second and then back down to first. That, you know, hesitation and jitterness that you feel on the Rebel, it's not present here. It's a lot smoother. The shifting from first to second is also smoother. You don't feel a clunk as much as you do with the Rebel 1100. So yes, I do admit that the DCT is better over here than the actual Rebel 1100, at least my generation, which is the 2021. I believe the newer generations have the upgraded DCT in it. If I am to summarize this generation DCT compared to the 21 generation on my bike, I would say this is more refined versus the other one being more raw. It's got more character. That's the only way that I can kind of describe it. I don't know if you guys can relate to what I'm saying, but this one, yes, it is smooth, guys. But dare I say, too smooth, maybe? The brakes on the NT1100 are incredibly impressive. I'm telling you guys, these brakes are excellent. You've got a double disc in the front. I don't know what they did to it. I don't know if they're different pads or not, but the brakes are very impressive. Relative, of course, to the Rebel 1100. The front brakes are incredibly impressive. Surprisingly, the rear brake is also a lot more grippy. It has a lot more stopping power. I'm very impressed with the braking system, and whatever they did, well done to you, Honda. You did an amazing job with the brakes on this bike. The cockpit over here does feel a little bit more refined, I have to say. In addition, the heated grips on the NT are quite warmer than the Rebel 1100 based on my observation. So in the cockpit, here's what I wanted to point out. It was a really cool feature because I didn't even know, I hadn't done too much research into the features and so on, but it does have self-canceling turn signals, which is pretty cool, to be honest with you. I use them. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. I don't think there is a system out there that's going to be perfect. It's hard for me to describe, but it might turn off too soon before you actually make the turn, or sometimes it stays on a little bit longer than you had anticipated. So, but it's a cool feature to have. I'm gonna merge left over here. I'm gonna turn it on. Look right here, okay? So check this out, all right? I'm gonna merge, see when it turns off. Did you see that? Wow, that's pretty impressive, don't you think? Another thing that I want to point out while we're still here is your hazard lights, okay? So actually, let me turn it off. The hazard lights, if you press that, it's not going to come on. However, if the bike was on and you came to a stop and you put your hazard lights on, as you can see, they're flashing, right? Now, what happens with the Rebel 1100, if you turn the bike or you turn the key ignition off, right, it will actually stop. This is a really cool feature. I really appreciate this because if you're on the side of the road, sometimes you need to leave these on. And check this out. With the Rebel 1100, no way you can do this. If you take the key out, they're still working. Okay. Another feature that I wanted to point out is the fact that your parking brake is now over here, much easier than the other one. Okay. So you don't need two hands to manipulate it, just one finger, and you're able to apply it and release it at the same time. The cruise control is exactly the same as my 2021 model, not the newer version, which I appreciate because this is really easy for me to use, okay? One other thing is you do have a USB outlet over here, which you can use a dongle for CarPlay and Android Auto or whatever it is, and a cigarette lighter outlet over here as well. This right here is a little bit complicated. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I'm sorry, but yes, there's a lot happening over here. They're not very intuitive, okay? You're gonna have to invest a little bit of time to study how these work and how you manipulate the system. It's not very, very easy. I had a little bit of difficulty trying to understand how to change modes and what have you. But yeah, I mean, you just have to invest a little bit of time to actually figure out how it works. But I'm just being honest with you and sharing with you my first impression of this. The saddlebags look great, to be honest with you. They're very practical, useful, look fantastic. They're solid as well. But they do have one thing that's quite annoying, is the fact that you need to have a key in here every time you want to access it. Some people might like that. I personally don't. And the other thing is that it's a clamshell opening. As you can see, this bag does not come with it, but there are bags available for the saddlebags, okay? So it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I need to live with it a little bit longer to actually appreciate it. The closing mechanism can be a little bit cumbersome. As you guys can see, I'm struggling with it a little bit, but there we go. And then you gotta lock it to be able to pull the key out, okay? The top case is fantastic. It's very large, works great, but same concept, you need a key to access it. Another really cool feature is that the bike comes standard with a center stand. Now, this is great for, maintenance and what have you, but I do have to let you know, it's not as easy as one would think to get the bike up on the center stand. I'm not gonna demonstrate it because this morning I learned the hard way, unfortunately, that it's not so simple. I was trying to put the bike on the center stand just to see what that's like, and unfortunately the bike tipped over, and this is the resulting damage. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry, Paul. It's over here. The brake lever broke off over here. This got scratched up. The fairings were saved, thank goodness. A little bit of scratch right here, another one right there, and on the saddlebags, as you guys can see. So this is the type of damage that the bike will sustain if it is dropped without any protection, okay? So it sucks, but I'm just gonna be honest with you guys and share everything that I've experienced with it. The things that I would do to this bike, first thing that I would do is I would lower the bike. Second, I would put risers. Then I would change the seat. I would also put crash guards on the bike as well, so I can put highway pegs. I don't know if I'll put the top crash guards or just the bottom ones, but I'd also like to have fog lights with this as well. The screen, I would not change anything about it. It's perfect the way that it is. Let's get on the bike and talk about my final thoughts.
Sun just breaking through the haze, rolling slow into the day. No one here to rush my time, just that quiet in my mind.
Once again, let's define who this bike is for. Okay, if you're looking for comfort, if you're looking for touring, absolutely, this bike is unbeatable in terms of the value, in terms of the features, the reliability. It's a Honda after all, right? This engine has been proven time and time again for many, many years, okay, with the Africa Twin as well as the Rebel 1100. With me personally, firsthand, I'm at 40,000 miles with this engine on my Rebel 1100, right? Zero issues. Check that out. Zero issues, nothing at all, no problems. It'll go on forever, right, with proper maintenance. Okay. So if you are a taller rider, so I would say 5'9", with a 31-inch inseam, 5'9", this is your bike. This is perfect, okay? You cannot do anything to it. Now, how does this compare to my bike in my situation, guys? Okay, so this is subjective, right? I'm trying to tell you, this bike is perfect, okay? Perfect all around. It's just amazing, right? So very few things that I would change about it. And it's not the fault of the bike that these things need to be changed. It's me, right? I'm a short guy, that's it. I'm a short guy, I'm a small guy too. I'm only like 160 pounds, right? So maneuvering all of this weight is cumbersome, right? The question is, what is the compromise, right? What is the compromise? Do I compromise, every day riding this, and I'm always anxious about dropping the bike or not reaching the ground, and it's top heavy and what have you, for the added comfort? That's a very difficult question, guys. Very difficult question that I'm struggling with. However, I do have to point something out based on my personal experience. This could be different for you. I'm afraid to say it, but I will say it. It's the honest truth. I'm going to tell you that the Rebel is more fun to ride. Yes, this is comfortable, okay? But the Rebel has more character to it. I don't know how to articulate it, but it has more character. The way that it goes into the corners, the feedback that you get from the road is a lot more raw. You feel more connected to the road. This one, maybe because of the suspension, it's so soft and what have you. I would have loved to try the electronic suspension on this one to feel what it's like. But again, maybe I got used to the bike because I've had it for 5 years. I don't know what it is, guys. I'm just speaking from the heart and telling you how I feel. Do I want another bike? Yes. Am I willing to trade the Rebel in? Yes. Okay. I'm keeping an open mind. Will I do it based on what I've experienced here? There isn't enough, guys. There isn't enough to make me convert, or to either add another bike. Then you have to deal with the storage situation, and then they compete with each other. Ideally, of course, right? If I had the money, and if you have the money, of course, I would have both in a heartbeat. I'd also have the Goldwing in a heartbeat, right? But that's not me. That's not my case. I can't afford to have both of them or three of them. I don't have the money for that, guys. I have to be honest with you, right? So if I am to have just one bike, which bike would it be? For me, based on my experience with both bikes now, I have to say that I will stick to my Rebel 1100. I hope that you guys found this helpful. Have an absolutely amazing day. This is the place that I rented it from. This is in Gambrel, Maryland. Okay, so if you guys want to rent those Goldwings or this amazing NT1100, look, oh, they have another one over there, and there's my bike. Yes, yes, yes. So anyway, if you guys wanted to rent the NT or Goldwing, and they have a couple of others, he actually mentioned that they're gonna get a Rebel 1100 to rent as well. This is the place. The owner is Paul. He's amazing. So if you're ever in the Maryland area or Northeast area, this is the place to be.
I usually have people sit on it.